Have you ever wondered how Spring is going to keep your database safe and consistent each and every time you save or update or any operation you perform? In this video, exactly I'm going to break down that steps how Spring transaction works. Now this is one of the most powerful at the rate transactional annotations. What really happens behind this when the commit happens, when the rollback happens, under the hood, I'm going to explain each and everything. So let us imagine you have a huge city and that city name is transaction city. Okay. Now take a look at the heart of the city. There is something called high security vault. Now what is this high security vault? Where all the important database work happens over there. Okay. So in technical terms, we are talking about database work, but in the visual concept, we are talking about a city, right? Where everything happens and at a certain location only. Okay. Now no one is allowed to make some changes outside this particular vault. Okay. That's the main idea of this particular vault. So whatever important transaction, whatever important steps has to go via that particular vault only. Now, standing at that particular vault entrance is a very, very strict guardian, right? You can name it as an at the rate transactional annotation. Okay. So you must be knowing that Spring uses at the rate transactional annotation. Okay. Now, what exactly this does underneath is that once you enter that particular vault, okay, or the transaction basically, okay, either you have to succeed, that is, everything goes in a happy path, or let's say there is something wrong in that particular, let's say you face some problem, right? Then nothing changes at all under the need. It has to be go back to the same state, okay? This is particular one rule that is going to keep your city safe and from the chaos. Now we began talking about the main thing, that is the transaction is going to begin. Okay. Now when you enter that particular vault or when you enter that particular transaction, what happens? Let's say in terms of the technical, the developer sends some request, let's say. Okay. Let's say example, he's going to create an order. Let's say he's doing some transfer of money, or let's say he's going to update some user details. It can be any scenarios, but the guardian which we mentioned above, right, is going to open the new transaction for you. It is going to take the snapshot of that particular database at that particular moment, so that this will be handy whenever there is some problem. Now that particular lock, the vault is going to be the doors, right? Now for now on, all the actions will be tracked. Okay. The moment you start your transaction, okay, that will be, everything will be tracked from there, right? Whatever inserts, update, delete, or whatever n number of transactions you do is being tracked up over here. Let's look inside the vault. That is the main thing as an operation, what is happening inside it. Whenever you go inside, the developer is going to perform some actions, right? So he is going to do some saving, he is going to do some updates, he is going to delete. So he can save some entities, he can update some rows or columns with the value, or he can delete some records at, like, whatever he want to do. Okay. But here what happens is a secret, right? Nothing is going to be permanent yet, because you do every operations, you started the transaction, you're starting to do the operations. Okay. So nothing is, confirmed or permanent over here until you do something, the steps, later step, which I'm going to explain. So it is like writing on the whiteboard, but it is not with the ink, right? So it is something similar to that. Now outside the vault, the database still looks unchanged. There is nothing wrong, nothing changed over there. Okay. Because you have not yet, confirmed those changes. Okay. So other user who can't see the changes which is happening in the vault, right, is unaware of that particular changes. Okay. So that's what the view the user is going to get, is not yet inside the vault, or is not aware what's happening in the world. There can be two possibilities, right? One is like the happy path, and one is something went wrong. Okay. Now let's first take an example of an happy path where everything goes as expected. There is no problem, and all the transactions, the concurrent transactions, whatever you tried or the operations you did on that particular thing is fine. Okay. So now you commit that. Now the ultimate step is committing it. Okay. So the complete step is going to complete only when you commit it. Okay. No matter, like, you do n number of operations, but ultimately it has to be perfect. So everything works perfectly. Okay. So no errors, no exception. Now the guardian is happy that everything went well, right? Now he's going to shout out that we can commit that particular change. Okay. So what happens beneath is that the changes are written permanently. So earlier, which were temporarily changed, or temporary transactions which were performed one by one, right, is going to be made permanent. Okay. Now logs will be released. So what happens whenever you try to do some operations on any of these things, right? So that particular thing has to be locked up before anybody takes the lock. Okay. Now the vault door is going to open now. City is now going to celebrate that data is consistent now, and also it is quite safe to read, write, and then do the operations here. Earlier we looked into the previous section, that is happy path. Now let us look at the disaster path, or the path where there is some problem, right, which is called rollback. Now suddenly, let's say you are doing some operations and you went into some problem, right? An exception, or a rule is violated, or something is crashed up which is not known to you, right? And you did not expect it, or you have not written the code as expected to handle this. Now, what the guardians instantly is going to react on that part, that there is some problem, he has to safeguard that, right? Now, he has to roll back. Now, you remember in the start, I told you that he is going to take up the snapshot of that particular database, right? Now, what happens underneath is that all the changes are erased. Now, database is going to return to that particular same snapshot what the earlier it has taken, right? Before the operations were performed. Now it is as if nothing has changed, right? So it will look like that, as like nobody outside is going to know what has happened, right? What happened is wrong, and like it is going to work as normal, right? So city is again in the safe state. Okay. Nothing to worry about. We had a backup, we have rolled back it, and we are brought it to a state where the operations will be still continue and going. Now there is one invisible thing which is Spring Proxy. Okay. Now whenever the developer misses something, right, or most of the developer don't know about it, right? Spring does not put that at the rate transactional inside your method, right? So it is places a proxy, a guard like thing in front of it. Okay. What important things or the rules you need to know is that call from outside the class, okay, which happens, it has to always go to this particular proxy. Okay. Now calls from inside the same class or inside the transaction, whatever is happening, is going to bypass this. Okay. So that is why sometimes the transaction don't work. Okay. So many of them you might have to you might be relating to it, that why sometimes that particular transaction has not worked. This is the possibility that there's sometimes the transaction won't work. Now there is more to simple transactions, right? It's not just simple open the transaction, do the operation and commit, right? And the rollback, right? So there is nothing. This is going to be the very basic or a simple rules. But on top of this, you have different propagation levels. Okay. So there can be multiple vaults. Okay. In case of the context we are talking about. Now sometimes one transaction is going to call some another transaction. Okay. Spring must decide it has to join the same vault, or that is the same transaction, or it has to open up a new vault that is the same a different transaction. Okay. Now there are different types of transactions, that is going to be the propagation levels. So there are required new, and then there are more, right? So if you go right, think of it like a nested room inside a vault, right? That is one thing. And then you have a separate vault side by side. Okay, so that is how you can actually relate it with the real world terms when it comes to the transaction and how it is going to handle the propagation level. Okay, so that is what it is going to represent the nested vaults. Okay, so these are all transactional properties. There are some outer transaction calling in the inter transaction. There are some labels like you can have the required new, propagations, right? So these are all important concepts. Now once you know about what exactly happens at the propagation level, okay, there is one level which you need to know about, is isolation level. Okay, now this is something, a privacy that is going to get inside the vault or inside the transaction. Now, whenever you're dealing with multiple transactions, you may run at the same time. Okay, so that is going to run at the same. Now, isolation level is going to decide who can see what kind of information, who or when can the data be read. Okay, that is what the two things when it comes in a simple language, right? What exactly this isolation level does. Now, for the visual purpose, you can consider it as an glass walls, okay, where you will be able to see all the information, right? And the security shield, okay, between this particular two walls or two rooms, right? Now, the higher the isolation, the more safer it will be, the less performance it is going to be. Okay, so that's one thing you need to consider. So there will be isolation levels which will be from very minimal to the highest, right? Where the highest is going to have some degrading performance issues, but it is going to be the highest isolation level. Now then comes the exception and the rollback rules. Now, every programming language or every concept has some rules it has to follow. Okay. Now, when it comes to transactions, by default, checked exception will not be rolled back. Okay. Only runtime exception will be rolled back. Now, Spring is going to follow certain rules until that you have to write your own specific behavior, right? Spring has got their own default behavior. Now think of it as a rule book that is going to guardian your following strictly. Right? So it is going to follow your rules very strictly. So the guardian has some rules, it is going to follow them. Let's talk about the read-only transactions. Now some visitors only want to read the data. They doesn't want to do some operation on top of it, like writing, updating something. Now they are going to enter a special vault, that is, there will be no writing allowed over there. There will be a faster access way to do some provisions. Now there will be an optimized way to query things like a library inside a vault itself. Okay, there will be a particular section of things which will be very high performant, because it is going to do only the read operations. Now then comes the concept of timeout, right? So transaction, when it is started, right, there can be a possibility that the operation whatever you're trying to do has taken more than the expected time, right? But database has to safeguard itself, right? So every vault or every visitor who's going to visit it should be provided some time limit. Okay, so whatever transaction you're trying to do has to be provided under certain time limit only. Now, if it is going to time run out of that, right, transaction will be killed by it, okay, because it has to safeguard it. Now, either the rollback happens automatically. So, this is what the natural or the default behavior until you override this particular functionality. If you totally sum up this particular Spring transaction, it is not a magic, right? So Spring transactions are not magic. It is something, a well guarded rules. There are some proxies, and also the sync communication between the commit rollback logic, right? So it is going to work together to keep your transaction as a city as safe, right? So that's what it does. It is going to maintain your database in a consistent state, always available, do the right operation, give the visibility to other persons who are trying to read, write, and he has the necessary correct information. Okay, so that's what the transaction helps or enables the databases or the operations to be performed seamlessly. I hope I was able to explain you with the help of this particular video what exactly Spring transaction is and how it works internally. If this video has given you some value, then give a thumbs up on this particular video, and also don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon. Also watch out my channel to know more information about how the interview has to be prepared, or what kind of technical interview questions are asked in the interview, what are the technical concepts in the Spring, Kafka, microservices context. Okay, so there are different videos, practical questions, practical answers, scenario based questions, scenario based answers. So please do watch out my other videos. Thank you.